What's up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how I fish sand spots with wobblehead jigs. It's a great one. We're going to head underwater. We're going to talk about all the baits we use to hit those sand spots, how we catch bass on them, all the deets right here. So hang with us. We'll see you out there. Folks, I love to throw wobble heads on these sand spots post spawn because bass use them to kind of stage and recover. It's an awesome way to contact fish in a way that a lot of people don't throw those up here in northern grass lakes. If you guys know anything about me and the channel, you know that I like to do things different than most people. So here is a 4-inch tube on a wobble head, 3/8 ounce, and you can see that this is deadly. It gives that tube a heightened action. If you know anything about northern grass lakes, tubes are deadly baits on smallmouth, largemouth, whatever you're fishing for. I really like the wobble head tube on sand spots because it gives it a little bit more action. It's not your standard tube action. It's a little bit more subtle, a little bit better of an action, more aggressive. So if fish are aggressive, they're going to smoke this tube. I love throwing this on Lake Maxinkuckee. You can really catch them out there throwing this exact setup. Get the boat. Right out of the weed. So next up here we have the Craw Pappy. I really like to throw realistic craw baits on wobbleheads on sand spots because we have that crawfish like spawn again after the bass. I don't know what it is, but crawfish get super active on the sand spots. And that realistic Craw Pappy looks really good. It's brown and blue is the color that I throw most of the time, and don't ask me why, it gets bit. Here is probably my favorite bait to throw on a wobblehead though, which is the Paca Slim, and it is a brilliant crawfish bait. You can see it stands up there on the fall. It's got great colors, but the Paca Slim I really enjoy throwing on the wobblehead because it's the perfect amount of subtle and action. The craws flap on the fall there, and the legs give it a little extra profile, but it's not too much. It's not too much profile. It's not a beaver. It's not something else. It's a perfect mix of kind of action and subtlety. It does a fantastic job for me on sand spots. It's one of my favorite baits to throw. It's one of those baits I don't tell people about because I've caught so many bass throwing this. Most people use it as a jig trailer. I like to throw it on that wobblehead. Now, new in my lineup here are bigger worms on a wobblehead. Here's the Missile Baits Quiver Worm 6.5. As you can see, this bait has scintillating action. It's just got a ton of action in it. It's got a ton of flap and a ton of wiggle. I really like to swim this bait and kind of wiggle it and jiggle it as it goes over top of these grass spots, then let it fall into that sand to make a ruckus, then you bring it back up. The thing that I like about the wobblehead too is it also sheds this kind of vegetation. We get a lot of this algae and junk on the bottom this time of the year in northern natural lakes. The wobblehead comes through better than a Texas rig, I find. Don't ask me why, it just does. It does a really good job of shedding vegetation. This 6.5 bait does a fantastic job being not too much but just enough, right? And I really like green pumpkin black flake in this bait. It's a very clean presentation. It comes through there. You can do a ton with this worm. It's been featured in a lot of my other videos because I just believe in it a lot. Last but not least is the big worm. The deeper I get, the bigger fish that I'm looking for, the bigger the worm I want to throw on a wobblehead. So here's your Strike King bull worm, and this thing is a big fish magnet. If you look at that secondary action, that tail flap of this bait, it's putting a lot of action out into the water, and it is a big profile, but it's going to get bit, I promise you that. A 10-inch, 8-inch worm is not too big for a 1.5 pound, 2-pound bass, but you're going to get those 5 and 6 pound bites on this worm along with it. That's what that bigger profile will do for you when you're fishing.
Most people throw wobble heads on hard cover. I really enjoy throwing them on sand spots and really getting them down in there, swimming them above that cover, swimming either a worm or a craw. They're really, really good this time of the year in doing those things. So try it out if you haven't. If you want to help support the channel, go to the links, go to the descriptions, buy baits from Omnia, use our links. That gives us the ability to buy more baits, to do more things, to bring more content for you. Let us know in the comment section what you like, what you want to see, and give us a like, subscribe, folks. Tell your friends, channel's growing. Get on board. We'll see you out there.